Good afternoon. Sean here from Mountains Garage. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects amongst shop tools, and that's bead rollers. There's quite a bit to know. It's going to be kind of a quick video. Let's go. This bead roller, at least the blue part, I've had for a long time. I believe it's a Mettler Brothers. I bought it used. And I guess we should start with the difference between professional, and I'm using bunny ears on that, and the Eastwood Harbor Freight style bead roller. The biggest difference, other than rigidity, and we'll talk about that in a minute, is the actual shaft. The professional ones, if you want to call it, are 3/4. And sometimes they're held on with a set screw, sometimes they have a nut on the end with a washer on the other side. Should tighten the mandrel up that way. This particular one has 2 Allen screws. So, the professional ones have a 3/4 shaft. The Jegs, Harbor Freight, that style, is 22 millimeter. And those bead roller mandrels, a pair, are $20 to $25. And they're really nice. The professional ones, these are $100 a set. And I've never been so disappointed in something in my life. I started making my own instead. For instance, I bought a few of these here, and the center bore is about 770. That's 20 thousandths loose on the shaft. So you tighten it up with a set screw, and now it wobbles. Basically, I wasted $100 per set. I'm gonna bore them out and sleeve them. Haven't done it yet. I've done a few of them. Really disappointed. This is made in America, where the other stuff's made in China. The 22 millimeter stuff, and that stuff works pretty good for the money. I'm pro USA, but come on, there's no excuse for that. In my thumbnail, you'll see an orange bead roller, and it was a Jegs I bought on sale just before Christmas 2018 for $79. And if you go, there's lots of YouTube videos to tell you how to make it rigid, but I, on the back side, welded square tubing, and I also mounted it just like I mounted this one. I already had this one mounted on the trailer hitch, so I continued. I just made a stand out of an old model AA wheel that I had, and trailer hitch, so I can actually slide it into the bench receivers too if I want to. But this stand works pretty good. And I sold the orange one with quite a selection of the 22 millimeter mandrels, and I kind of wish I had hung on to it. But anyway, let's get into what it takes to convert it. This was a hand cranked version, and if you've ever tried to bead roll something on that end and crank on this end by yourself, you see my hand cranking, the hand crank used to be right here, well, your results are gonna show. This, with a foot pedal control, I have a 10 RPM 90 volt motor, a 90 volt control, because 10 RPM is still too fast. I can turn this down to just about nothing. This is only about, that's only a third of the way up. I can almost stop it. This is pretty good speed. You can go around corners and you got good control, and I built this little table just out of a piece of aluminum I had, so you got pretty good control. Makes it kind of nice. You just draw it out on the metal and go for it. I guess while I'm talking about how to actually use one, to be consistent, when you put a piece of metal in, you turn the wheel down till it touches, and then go, for instance, a turn and a half. Do your work, and then back it out a turn and a half, plus whatever, it doesn't really matter. You're going to do one next to it, get down to it touches, go down a turn, get down the same amount and up the same amount every time, and you get consistent results. And follow your line. That's about all it takes to be good with a bead roller, other than a steady hand. And again, we got both hands to control the metal because you have a motor. It's kind of fun. You can do some cool stuff. The reason I built 2 is I had some time on my hands, recovering from an illness, and I actually bought a used motor first and a control, and it was a massive failure. So a little more research and a good guess. Actually, my brother was building one at the same time. His came out really nice. He does really nice work. I found these 90 volt right angle motors I believe they're a 5/8 shaft. And my bead roller is 3/4 shaft. Well, if you're familiar with a Lovejoy coupler, if I can get a picture in there, that's the Lovejoy coupler. You can order 5/8 on the motor end and 3/4 on the other end. There's a rubber shock absorber in the middle. It's pretty simple. They go on with a set screw. It doesn't get much easier than that. And then once I had that in position, I just made a simple bracket. I mean, there's nothing fancy here at all. 3 bolts on the motor. You know, the right offset to hold it straight. Piece of cake. And then I just, while I was bead rolling, I made a couple covers to keep your hands out of it. Mostly because, you know, I was practicing. That's like one of the first ones I did right there. Went around an oval. The control, so I spent, these were brand new. They were WW Granger. I think they're obsolete, but the guy had quite a few of them. And I think I paid $93 for it. The control I just looked up. I think it was $33 on Amazon. Same with the drum switch. I think it was $14 on Amazon. That's a forward and reverse. Really simple wiring. You just run 110 to that and run it, the control through the drum switch. And this is a Harbor Freight $13 foot pedal. It's, again, it couldn't be any simpler. It just interrupts the power cord. Instead of plugging it in the wall to run all the time, it goes through the foot pedal first. That shuts it off and on. It's really, really simple once you figure out what stuff to use. And it works good. Here's a better shot of the Lovejoy coupler. I'll spin her around here. Just a set screw. It's 2-piece. Goes right on the shaft. Metal fell down. You can get a part number on it. But yeah, really simple. The one that I sold, I made really nice covers and spent some more time. I painted everything. It looked pretty nice. Hopefully the guy's happy with it. I never heard back. But whatever. This one here is really utilitarian. I never took it apart and did final paint. You know, it's just a tool. You're going to use it. And there's absolutely nothing fancy about any of the work I did. It's just functional. Sometimes that's okay. This is an adjustable depth stop, also homemade. So, you know, you could go up against it and hold a steady line. As long as you weren't turning corners, it does make you, if you're just going back and forth, it helps you to, you know, keep it nice and straight, which is a trick in bead rolling. Earlier I said there's nothing to it other than what I told you. There really is. There's some guys that are artists. It's kind of like welders. I could teach you how to weld, but to teach you how to weld like the guys that weld like an artist, that's completely different, you know. That just takes time and practice and a natural born ability. I believe that for sure. You know, I think I'm a pretty good welder. I have friends that can, you know, weld me under the table, if you will, because they're that good. I don't know how they got that good. Many hours, I guess. I don't spend enough time doing it. Because like everything else in my life, I only do it out of necessity. I can do a lot of things. Not really good at anything. It's good to laugh at yourself. Anyway, I'm going to give you the backside view here. Why not? Again, not anything fancy. Just, you know, stuck a few wires on it. I actually found this hand crank somewhere because it just comes with a T-handle with a 1/4-inch bolt or 3/8, whatever it's got in it. So I just made a handle. This actually spins, which is nice. Again, the table's just a piece of channel. Nothing fancy. I got to get on bushing the rest of these because I bought some pretty neat things. And, yeah, got to get on it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I hope you got something out of it. Like everything else in my life, I learned the hard way, and I'll spread the information. Thanks for watching. But wait, there's more. Back to the orange bead roller and Christmas 2018. It was Christmas Eve. My family gets together, has a meal in Yankee Swap, and then, you know, it's always a good time. So just about dark, I think we had to be there at 6 o'clock where we were gathering at my sister's house. About 4 o'clock, I was going to run to the hardware store and get some more Chevy orange paint, engine paint, for the other bead roller. They asked me if I wanted a bag. I said, no, I'm all set. I set it on the seat of my Suburban, and I took the back way home with a few S-turns, and it was a nice night. Roads are dry. I was kind of you know, running the slalom through there, and I watched one of the cans roll over by the passenger door. So I said to myself, when I get home, I got to make sure to catch that when I open the door. Well, I didn't catch it. And it was a perfect storm. It hit on its corner on my driveway. And when it started a tornado of orange paint, it covered me, my hat, my glasses, my clothes, the inside of my Suburban. It's hard to describe. And here it is, dark, and I'm covered in paint. And I got about an hour or so to get where I need to be. Thank God for my wife. She kind of helped out a lot while I tried to get it out of my face. She actually cleaned everything else up. To this day, if I walked up and showed you there's an orange spot in my driveway, reminded me to always ask for a bag. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. The scene of the crime. Oh, the humanity.